I remember that morning as clearly as if it were yesterday. The smell of coffee filled the kitchen, sunlight dancing across the counter where I used to make pancakes for my little boy. But this time, it wasn't my kitchen anymore, it was theirs. My son, Ethan, and his wife, Lily, had let me move in after my hip surgery, promising I could stay as long as I needed. For months, I cooked dinners, folded laundry, and looked after their daughter, Emma, every day after school. I thought I was helping. I thought I was part of the home. Then one morning, Lily sat across from me, her arms folded tightly. "Margaret," she began, her voice cool and clipped, "Ethan and I have been talking. We think it's time you find your own place. You don't really contribute enough to stay here." Her words cut deeper than any knife. I looked at her, hoping it was some cruel joke. "Not contribute enough?" I whispered. "Lily, I paid the down payment on this house. I've been helping with groceries, bills." She sighed, as if I were a burden she had tolerated long enough. "That was years ago, Margaret. We're trying to build our own life now." Ethan stood behind her, his eyes fixed on the floor. My heart shattered in that silence, because his silence spoke louder than anything. I packed my things that afternoon, my hands trembling as I folded away years of love into a single suitcase. Emma cried when I told her I had to leave. "Grandma, please don't go," she sobbed. I hugged her tightly, whispering, "I'll always be with you, my sweet girl." When the taxi pulled away, I looked back through the window at the house I helped them buy, the home I thought I belonged in. But deep down, as tears blurred my eyes, a quiet voice whispered in my heart, "They don't know what they've done yet. But one day, they will." The next morning, I sat quietly at the kitchen table, the smell of coffee filling the air. My hands trembled as I stirred it, not from the chill, but from the silence. The same house that once echoed with laughter and bedtime stories now felt cold and hollow. Sophie, my daughter-in-law, walked in first. Her hair was perfectly tied, her phone already in hand. "Good morning," she said flatly, not looking at me. I tried to smile. "Morning, dear. I made your favorite blueberry pancakes." She didn't even glance up. "Oh, we're trying to cut back on sugar," she muttered, scrolling through her phone. I turned toward Ethan, who entered moments later, half awake. "Good morning, sweetheart," I said softly. He nodded but barely met my eyes. "Morning, Mom," he said, taking a mug from the counter. "Listen, we need to talk." Those words sent a chill down my spine. I placed my cup down carefully. "About what?" He sighed. "Sophie and I have been discussing things. It's about finances." I nodded slowly. "All right. I've been paying the mortgage and covering groceries. What else do you need?" Sophie finally looked up, her tone clipped. "That's just it. You cover things, but you don't really contribute. You live here rent-free, use the utilities, and I paid for the down payment of this house. I interrupted, my voice shaking. Ethan, you remember that. You both couldn't afford it then. Sophie's lips tightened. That was years ago. Things change. Ethan rubbed his forehead, looking torn. Mom, it's just hard for us too. Maybe it's time you thought about your own place. Somewhere quieter. I stared at them both, unable to breathe. My own son, the boy I raised through sleepless nights, who cried on my shoulder when his first girlfriend broke his heart, was now suggesting I leave. I forced a smile, though my heart cracked inside. Of course, I whispered. If that's what you both want. Sophie looked relieved, Ethan looked away, and I realized something powerful. Love might fade in silence, but dignity doesn't. And they were about to learn exactly what that meant. That night, I couldn't sleep. The clock ticked loudly, each second echoing in my chest like a reminder of the years I had given, to motherhood, to sacrifice, to love that now felt one-sided. The words replayed in my mind, you don't contribute enough. I had spent my life contributing, to their comfort, their home, their peace, but maybe they were too young to understand the value of quiet sacrifices. By morning, I had made up my mind. I would leave, but not the way they expected. I brewed my coffee and watched the sun rise through the kitchen window. Sophie's laughter carried faintly from upstairs. Ethan's voice joined hers. Once, that sound would have made me smile. Now, it only reminded me of distance, emotional and growing. I picked up my phone and called Mr. Lewis, the banker who had helped me co-sign the mortgage years ago. Good morning, dear, I said, steadying my voice. I just wanted to check something about the house payments. He was polite, as always. Of course, Mrs. Thompson. You're still the primary on that loan. Your name's on the deed and the mortgage. Why do you ask? Primary. My hands tightened around the receiver. That one word gave me back a piece of the control I thought I'd lost. Oh, nothing urgent, I said, smiling faintly. Just checking in. I may need to make some adjustments soon. After I hung up, I sat in silence, a plan forming in my head. If Sophie believed I wasn't contributing, then maybe she needed to see what not contributing truly looked like. That evening, I made dinner, a simple roast, with mashed potatoes and gravy, just like Ethan used to love. As we ate, I spoke gently. I'll start packing tomorrow, I said. You were right, Sophie. It's time I have my own space. She smiled, obviously pleased. That's best for everyone. Ethan just nodded, guilt flickering behind his eyes. I smiled back, calm and composed. Inside, though, I had already decided, the next mortgage payment would not be made. They wanted independence. They would soon get a taste of it, the kind that comes with bills, responsibility, and reality. And I would finally see what my absence was truly worth. 3 weeks passed quietly after I left Ethan's house. I moved into a small apartment downtown, nothing fancy, but peaceful, with a little balcony overlooking a park. The silence was heavy at first, but soon it felt healing. No criticism. No ungrateful remarks. Just me, my tea, and the sound of birds at sunrise. I mailed one last check for utilities and groceries before I left, out of habit more than duty. After that, I stopped. And then, I called the bank. "Mr. Lewis," I said calmly, "please cancel the automatic mortgage payments. I won't be continuing those." He hesitated. "Are you sure, Mrs. Thompson? It'll affect your son's account too." "Yes," I replied, voice steady. "I'm sure." The moment I hung up, I felt something inside me unclench. For years, I had carried that family on my shoulders. They thought I didn't contribute enough. Now they'd find out what that truly meant. 2 weeks later, the phone rang. Ethan's number. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "Mom," he started, his voice tight. "The bank called. The mortgage payment didn't go through. They're saying the account's short." I sipped my tea. "Oh. That's odd. I assumed Sophie was handling things now that I'm not contributing." There was silence. Then, a soft sigh. "Sophie thought you were still paying, Mom. You can't just stop." I cut him off gently. "Ethan, darling, your wife made it clear I don't do enough to stay. So I thought I'd stop doing anything." He tried to argue, but I didn't let him. I'd spent too many years explaining myself. This time, I would let my silence, and their overdue bills, speak for me. A week later, I heard from a mutual friend that the house was under review for payment delinquency. Sophie was furious, apparently blaming Ethan for the financial mess. I smiled to myself, not out of spite, but understanding. Sometimes life teaches lessons that words never can. Ethan eventually texted, "Mom, can we meet? Please." I looked at the message for a long moment, then typed back, "Of course, son. I'll be at the park." Bring no excuses, only honesty. Because now, it wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about reclaiming respect. The air was cool that morning, crisp, like the kind that clears your head before a difficult talk. I sat on the same park bench where Ethan used to chase pigeons as a little boy. Funny how life circles back, the same bench, the same mother and son, but a lifetime of distance between us. When he arrived, I almost didn't recognize him. His shoulders were slumped, his face pale. He looked defeated. The confident tone that used to carry through our house was gone. He sat beside me, silent for a moment, fidgeting with his wedding ring. "Mom," he finally said, his voice low. I'm sorry. I looked ahead, watching the sunlight dance on the fountain. For what, Ethan? For letting Sophie speak for you? Or for forgetting who paid for that roof you live under? He winced but didn't argue. I didn't mean for things to go that far. Sophie, she said some things, and I didn't stop her. I thought you understood that we were trying to build our own life. I turned to face him. Your own life? Ethan, I helped build that life. Every brick, every bill, every night I stayed up worrying you'd have enough. And when she said I don't contribute enough, you just let her? His eyes glistened. I was wrong, Mom. I didn't realize how much you were doing until everything started falling apart. The mortgage, the bills, I thought I could handle it. But the truth is, I can't. There it was, honesty. The thing I'd waited years to hear. I softened a little. Ethan, I never wanted your money. I just wanted your respect. I wanted you to stand up for me, not because I'm your mother, but because I earned my place in your home. He nodded, voice cracking. You did. I see that now. And I want to fix it. I don't want money, Mom, I want you back. Tears welled up, but I kept my tone steady. Ethan, I forgive you. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. You have to show me you've learned, not just say it. We sat in silence for a while. A bird landed near us, pecking at crumbs. Life moved on quietly around us, like nothing had happened, but for the first time, I felt a small piece of peace return. 2 weeks later, Ethan showed up at my apartment door again, no grand speeches, no flowers, just him holding a box of groceries and a humble smile. I thought maybe we could cook dinner together, he said. It wasn't much, but the gesture said everything his words couldn't. I nodded and let him in. The apartment smelled faintly of lavender candles and old memories, memories I once thought I'd never share with him again. He unpacked the groceries clumsily, dropping a tomato that rolled across the counter. We both laughed, and for a moment, I saw the little boy who used to ask me to cut the crusts off his sandwiches. As we cooked, he told me everything that had happened since I canceled the mortgage. Sophie had panicked, then realized how deeply she'd taken my help for granted. When the bank called, Ethan said he finally told her the truth, that without me, there would be no house, no comfort, no foundation. She cried, he said softly. And she wants to apologize to you herself. I stayed quiet for a moment, stirring the soup. People only realize your value when the ground under them starts to crack, I replied. He nodded. I know. I should have defended you. I was trying to keep peace, but instead, I broke something much more important. Later that evening, Sophie came by. No makeup, no polished tone, just sincerity. Mrs. Carter, she said, eyes wet, I was wrong. I didn't see everything you did. I was selfish. I didn't answer right away. I just looked at her, a young woman caught between pride and guilt. Sophie, I said gently, marriage isn't about ownership. It's about gratitude. You have a good man. Don't make him choose between love and loyalty ever again. She nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. Weeks passed, and slowly, things began to heal. Ethan and Sophie invited me back home, not out of pity, but out of genuine love. And this time, they didn't offer me the guest room. They gave me the same room I once helped pay for, the one with sunlight spilling through the curtains every morning. As I sat by the window that evening, watching them laugh together, I realized something profound. Sometimes you have to take everything away to remind people what really matters. Lesson: never underestimate your own worth. When people forget your value, let silence and distance teach them what your words cannot.